the Qualcomm Group. He's the CEO and president of the Qualcomm Group. In fact, Qualcomm Group in particular is making large investments in the Indian startup space. The company just recently decided to pour in $150 million. And what is that investment geared towards? We also asked Mr. Amon about the interest in robotics in India, in chip making, given the fact that the Semiconductor Mission Part 2 is going to come up soon. Here's what he had to say.
Yes, look, I think, first of all, it's a new Qualcomm. I think Qualcomm continue to change. Yes, you're correct. Everyone think of Qualcomm as a mobile company, smartphones, but we had expanded into automotive, to PCs, to industrial, to broadband, and now robotics and data center. And I think robotics is enabled by physical AI. Physical AI, by definition, is like an edge AI. It's going to happen at scale across many different industries. I think we see from humanoid robots, those type of robots, but also a lot of industrial robots. And when we look at the investment profile of Qualcomm going forward, yes, we're investing in all of those different businesses, but robotics and data center are the new investment areas.
Right. We'll talk about the data center aspect of it, but I have to first talk about the recent announcement that you've made that you're going to be pumping in $150 million in India's startup ecosystem. So, I mean, it's quite understandable that you would be interested in the chips ecosystem, even when it comes to startups, deep techs, and of course, AI companies. But if I were to ask you to describe the scale of the sectors that are of interest to you, and how are you looking at deploying this fund?
Yes. Historically, I think we always invested in a lot of the India startups. I think we like the fact there's a lot of talent and a lot of innovation. But this particular one is dedicated to AI and especially edge AI. If anything, I think it's a way to show that we're actually a big believers that India is going to happen at scale for AI. Edge AI is going to happen in India a lot. And I think the sectors, to your question, is, of course, automotive. I think we already partner with the India automotive segment. Mobile internet in India, it's one of the fastest growing in the world. I think the change of that into agents and new agents that are going to be developed for mobile phones. The category of new personal AI devices, we're super excited about partnership with a number of different devices, from glasses to pendants, that is going to be connecting to agents, including local agents. And in the industrial sector, when I look at the effort in India for manufacturing, and also electronics manufacturing, we're going to have some interesting announcements tomorrow. We see that opportunity of edge AI in the industrial manufacturing sector to be a very big one.
Right. That's an interesting point that you've mentioned. And since you mentioned about manufacturing, I have to talk to you about the electronics ecosystem, where you continue to have investments even in India's chip-making ecosystem, semiconductor ecosystem. I mean, where do you see these investments moving? You have essentially sort of partnered with the Indian government and invested in the design aspect of the semiconductor ecosystem. But what more are you looking at?
Yes. I wish I could tell you like today, because we have a very exciting announcement that we're going to do tomorrow.
Do you want to reveal? Do you want to give a hint of that?
It's going to be how we're expanding the partnership to leverage India, both electronics manufacturing, the capabilities been built on assembly, testing, and packaging, and foundry as well. Some of the we're going to be both an investor as well as a customer that is going to help create scale, and we're very excited to do that because we actually believe in the role that India is going to have in semiconductor industry. But to your question, design is something that we already been doing in India. We're very proud, I think, of our India teams. It's our second largest R&D hub beyond the United States, and we announced with the IT minister the first 2-nanometer chip designed in India by the Qualcomm team. So the role of India in design, in the manufacturing of electronics, just for us and for our customers, the ability on the semiconductor supply chain to do advanced packaging and assembly and test. In the foundry business, we're very encouraged by the government initiative, their Semiconductor Mission, and we want to support that and be a partner.
Right. So, Cristiano, when you talk about the fact that the Indian government is supporting the semiconductor ecosystem, and truly, I mean, it's been taken up well by the companies that are sort of looking at. In fact, we could see the rollout of first set of commercial chips by this year. But when you compare it to, for instance, what the United States is doing, what some of the other countries are doing, there is a chips race across the world, right? So, And we do understand that the government of India is going to come up with the second phase of the India Semiconductor Mission. Where do you think the government needs to sort of focus on? What is it that you would sort of give your feedback as somebody who belongs to the ecosystem?
Look, if I zoom out, the bigger picture, the industry need more and more semiconductors, and semiconductors need a very strong and resilient supply chain. Chips are in everything right now, and with AI, chips are going to continue to be in everything. So I think the feedback that I have today in the government, this is a journey. This is not, you're not going to get everything done in 1 year. You have to commit for multiple years. I think the United States is doing the same thing. You see a lot of progress by the United States administration in building manufacturing to the United States. And try to, we all want a geographically diversified semiconductor ecosystem. So the government in India is taking all the right steps, and I think that needs to continue, and it's going to be a multi-year journey.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the AI Impact Summit, which is currently underway in New Delhi. Tomorrow is the final date, date 5, and which is when the Prime Minister is going to hold a whole host of bilaterals. Tomorrow at around 10:30 a.m. is also something that we're going to witness happen between the United States and India. That is going to be the signing of the Pax Silica initiative. In fact, the United States recently announced that Pax Silica will soon, India will soon become part of the Pax Silica initiative. Essentially, it's on critical minerals and cooperation. This has several other countries under this initiative as well. So stay tuned to ET Now. We will be getting you more updates and, of course, special interviews with government representatives, with CEOs, and all those who are attending the AI Summit right here in the National Capital. Goodbye, and thank you very much for tuning in.